just got late, leaving home. So today is the last Sunday of 2025, believe it or not. Huh? Blessings, yes, yes. And generally speaking, we like to think about how the year was and what's happened in the future and all that. But I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to talk about the present age. What's the name of this yuga? Kali Yuga. So we talk about Kali Yuga and review what has happened and look at predictions. Srimad Bhagavatam, what's going to happen. So it's a little scary, but not so bad. And so Srimad Bhagavatam actually starts by something like 80,000 sages sitting in a place called Naimisharanya in India, asking Sutta Goswami a number of questions, 6 questions they asked. And the last question was, so what's going to happen in Kali Yuga? It's considered to be the age of hypocrisy and quarrel. So how's it going to work? And the age of Kali starts only after Lord Krishna leaves this planet. So actually, the time, if you look at the Vedic calculation, the time for Kali to start had already come when Lord Krishna was still on this planet. But Kali would not dare to appear when Krishna was there. He waited for Krishna to leave this planet. So the sages were asking, so where would religion go? After Krishna leaves, where would religion go? Where is its support going to come from? So Sutta Goswami answers those questions and he talks about what we can expect to see in Kali Yuga. There's a very famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1 actually, chapter 1, text 10. This Prayana Alpayusha Sabhya, Kalavasman Yugejana, Manda Sumanda Matyo, Mandi Bhagyo Hi Upatuta. So it's describing what the people are going to be like. Yes, first of all, they'll have very short duration of life. As a matter of fact, in the 12th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam says the maximum age in the age of Kali will be 50 years. 50 years, that's the maximum age. So how many years have gone by in Kali Yuga? Anybody knows?
No.
Anybody knows?
5,000.
5,000. Yes, 5,000 has gone by. And how many is still to go?
427,000.
427,000 years more to go. So total span of Kali Yuga is 432,000 years. 5,000 have gone. So we can already see this reduction in the age. In the Satyuga, the average lifespan was 100,000 years. In Treta, average span was 10,000 years. In Dwapar, it was 1,000 years. And Kali Yuga, if somebody gets to 100, you get a letter from the Prime Minister, congratulations. You made it, 100 years. So it's always a surprise. And all sorts of things start happening when somebody hits 100. Anyway, so the point is that the maximum age span in the Kali Yuga is considered to be 100 years. I'm sure there are a few exceptions, but generally speaking. So Bhagavatam also talks about why is it that the age has reduced so much. It's not that there's not enough food. There's ample food for people to eat. So that is not the reason for the reduced lifespan. The real reason is that it's the irregular habits. Used to be people would go to sleep early, wake up early in the morning. Used to be that people would work very hard all day. All of that's gone. And bad habits are crept in. So some of the bad habits are what? Smoking, drinking, sleeping late, sleeping till late, competing for unnecessary reasons, just working harder than you need to acquire things we don't need. Can we give an example of things we don't need, but we work very hard to get them? Any ideas?
Big houses.
Big houses, absolutely. What else?
Luxury items.
Huh? They have 2 tattoos, that's right. 3 televisions.
Brand names.
Brand names, and the latest model. Right? I have the iPhone, what, 16 now?
18.
18. My grandson just got a cell phone for his Christmas or birthday gift. $1,600. And he's 14 years old. And I was saying, my daughter, what's wrong with you? But people are working very hard so they can get those kind of things. Totally unnecessary. I have a phone that my son must throw away. He's only 10 years old, but it works so well. But it's what? This is like 15 generations ago. But anyway, my point is they're unnecessary. We're working very hard to get it. So all those things sap our energy and reduce our lifespan. Next is just manda. What does manda mean? Lazy. So we're not lazy just in terms of not wanting to get up early in the morning and things like that. Have you ever seen a mother try to wake up their teenage son or daughter at 11 o'clock in the morning? Mom, I don't want to wake up. Come on, it's 11 o'clock. No, I don't want to wake up. No. And in general, also people like to sleep early. I have most of my friends are retired now. And so sometimes they tell me, oh, I watched Netflix for 9 hours straight. Another friend wrote me that they played bridge from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. non-stop. Things like this because they don't want to work hard. They certainly don't want to work hard when it comes to self-realization. How hard do we work, people in general? How hard do we work to make sure we come back to this material world? Tell me. How hard do people work to make sure the next life will be back in this material world? Very hard, like 100% dedicated. Right? How do you make sure you come back? Let's make it interactive. How do we make sure we come back to this material world? What's our question? Sorry?
Being very greedy for everything.
Yeah, being greedy for everything. I want to have this, I compete with that. envy, greed, anger, all those kind of things. And karma after karma after karma, not just karma, vikarma. What's vikarma? Activities against the injunctions of Shastra, so pap, right? Sinful activities. What about pious activities? Will they make sure you come back? Yes. If you do pious activity, punya, you come back as a very rich man, very famous man, very powerful man. Right? Very different from this material world. It's still birth, old age, disease, and death. It's still happening. Every planet in this world. Krishna says, even if you go to Bungalow, you still have to come back. So we work very hard to make sure we come back. So no self-realization. Tell somebody, chant 16 hours, Prabhuji, no time. Okay, thank 1 hour, still no time. There's a friend, colleague of mine, long time ago, 49-year-old, female, not married, very frustrated in life, can't get along with anybody. I was saying, spend 5 minutes to chant. Prabhuji, I have no time. I don't have time to die. Marne or something. And I said to her, when Yamraj shows up, you tell him to come back because you're very busy right now. See how that works. But people are lazy, they don't want to do this. Sumanda Matiyo. Right? They're not very intelligent. They don't know what's good for them. What is good for us? What's good for us? Somebody tell me. Spiritual life. Serving Krishna, serving devotees. But we don't want to do that. What do you have to serve somebody? Why should I serve God? He should serve me. And that's what we do. We stand for Krishna, what do we say? Give me a son, give me a daughter, give me a daughter-in-law, give me a son-in-law, give me a job, give me promotion, give me more money, bigger house, bigger than the neighbor's house, second car. We're ordering him all the time. He's a servant. Sukh sampatti gharave, kashmir takka umre jagdish hai. I serve you if you give me money, give me property, give me money. We're ordering him all the time. I mean, Arjun ordered only once. Krishna, please take a chair in the middle of the battlefield. That's it. After that, you surrender. But we don't stop after once. Party men don't stop. We keep asking more and more and more. And then, mandabhagyo. Mandabhagyo means we're very unfortunate. Why are we unfortunate? Because we don't know what's good for us. We got totally upside down. What's going to bind us to this material world? And what's wrong with this material world? Please tell me somebody. What's wrong with this material world? Everything's temporary. What's wrong with that? Miserable. Nothing but misery. No matter who you are. Even when Krishna comes, he goes through misery. What misery did he go through? What misery did Krishna go through? Well, no, being attacked by demons. Every morning, after breakfast, before lunch, at least one. At least one. Right? What else? He was accused of stealing his money, his jewel. Right? You're a thief. I'm not talking about a thief, which is fine. Right? What misery did Lord Chandra go?
Exile.
Okay, exile. What else?
Wife.
His wife was kidnapped. I mean, how much more misery? These are supreme personalities of Godhead. Why are they going through that? Because that's the nature of this material world. Right? And then finally, Upadruta. That means always disturbed in mind. Always disturbed. We're always disturbed. Why are we disturbed? Because there's so many material desires. One after like the waves of ocean that keep coming. And we need to satisfy them. Then we're competing. We get frustrated because we can't get what we want. What we think I deserve, we're not getting, but this guy doesn't deserve, he's getting it all the time. Makes us very angry. Right? So always disturbed. And that is why so many wars are going on. Everywhere in the world today, Korea and Russia, or somewhere in Africa, Middle East, Israel and Hamas and all everywhere. Some wars we don't even hear about. They're going on constantly. Millions of people are being killed. And even when you're not fighting a war, in our civil society, what are we doing? We're putting our nose where it doesn't belong. Everybody has affairs. And causing them problems, therefore causing us problems. Even devotees are constantly fighting. Are there any fights going on in Scarborough temple at all? Yeah, arguments happen. People get angry with each other. That's never here, right? Only about Toronto. That's never here. Yeah, so my point is, we are both constantly disturbed. All those things cause problems. But that is the nature of Kali Yuga. Hypocrisy and quarrel. So actually, what happened was, there was a man, this is after the battle of Kurukshetra, when Yudhishthira had become the emperor. A man wanted to come inside the palace to see Maharaj Yudhishthira. And Bhima was coming out of the building. So he saw him and says to him, this man, where are you going? And he said, I'm going to see Maharaj Yudhishthira. And everyone knows Bhima, right? Yes? No? Okay. So Bhima said, why? Why do you want to see him? He said, I have some questions. So Bhima said, you don't have to bother Maharaj. You can ask me, I'll tell you. I said, okay. So I said, my first question is, I had a dream that there's a field, a fence all around it. But the fence is closing in. And as closing in, it's eating the crop. I don't understand what that means. So Bhima scratched his head and said, I don't know either. And I said, okay, that's fine, I have another question. He said, okay, ask me. He said, I saw in my dream, there's a large pitcher pot and 8 small pots. The large pot is full of water, and then somebody takes this water from the large pot and fills the 8 pots. And now this pot is empty. Then he takes the same 8 pots, puts the water back into the larger pot. But now the large pot is only less than half full. I don't understand how that happened. Nothing was spilled. So Bhima again scratched his head. I don't know. So fine, I have another question. What's the question? Well, I saw another dream that somebody's putting an elephant to the eye of a needle. And the whole elephant goes through, but the tail is stuck. I don't understand that. The elephant can go through, but the tail doesn't go through. So Bhima again scratched his head. No idea. He said, okay, one final question, maybe you can answer this one. Okay? There is a large boulder, stone, large boulder, it's rolling down a hill, catching speed, greater and greater speed as it's rolling down, and it's crushing everything this way. Large trees, houses, people, whatever. And people are running away scared. Suddenly a sage shows up. And it takes thread from his cloth, and that thread stops those stone. I don't understand how that's possible. So people say, I guess I'm no idea, maybe you should go to my district and he can answer your question. So man goes there. He has all his 4 questions. And I said, okay, yeah, let me answer your questions one at a time. He said, the dream that you saw that a fence is closing in on the crop and eating it at the same time means that Kali Yuga is here. Excuse me. It means Kali Yuga is here. And in this age, those who are supposed to protect us are going to hurt us. He said, the kings, the politicians who are there to protect the people, they're going to torture them, they're going to rob them, they're going to give them a lot of problems and kill them sometimes. Mother and father who are supposed to protect the child will kill the fetus while it's still in the womb. Police who are supposed to guard the people will take bribes and not protect the people they're supposed to protect, but protect the ones who are not supposed to protect. This system will also work for the people who have money, so they're not going to protect who they're supposed to protect. And that's the symptom of it. Oh, okay. The second dream, the dream was in this pot, large pot. You take the water from large pot, fill 8 small pots, put the water back, less than half pots full. So what does that mean? And he said, it means that in the age of Kali, people will not be grateful. It's a Sanskrit word called Kritagya. Have you heard that word? Kritagya. Krit means what you've done, Gya means to recognize, to acknowledge. So it means that you will not acknowledge what good things anyone has done for you. You will not have gratitude, you will not be grateful, no matter what people do for you. So therefore, you can do anything for people, but don't expect them to do it for no reciprocation. And he said that will happen especially with children. Parents gave their life to raise the child. But when the child grows up, he may or may not care as much for the children as parents. And I'm hearing some horror stories everywhere in the world. A couple of years ago, there was a news item in Toronto. There was an old, maybe not old, 73, 74-year-old woman at her home. That's knocked on the door. She opened it, and there was my son saying, what are you doing here? And the woman said, what do you mean, what am I doing? It's my home. I said, no, it's not in home. I'll buy this. I said, how can you buy? I have not sold it. I showed the paper. So apparently her son forged a signature and sold her house, never told her, kept the money. There was another situation case in India. There's a woman sitting at the airport, Delhi airport, crying. So somebody went and said, what's happened? She said, I'm sitting here for 10 hours now. So he said, why? He said, my son told me to wait for him. He's going to arrange some paper and all that, and then take me with me to New York. Apparently, that boy left her at the airport, took off to New York. Leaving her alone, nothing. There was another case where a woman was crying at an intersection, and somebody said, what's going on? And she gave a letter to him. So he read the letter. The letter said, whoever is reading this letter, please take my mother to Vritaashram. It's the oldest people's house. But I don't want her anymore. That's it. So many examples like that. There was a very famous example, the industrialist, Singhania, like multi-billionaire, and he said that I wrote everything in my son's name, thinking that no, I'm old, he'll take care of it, he'll take care of me. But as soon as I signed the papers, it turned out, I have nothing to my name, I don't have money to rent an apartment. And he's a multi-billionaire. Singhania.
Oh my God.
So very famous name in India.
I know him.
Yeah. So there you go. So saying that there's no reciprocation of what you do for people, there's no gratitude. How can there be gratitude for people to people if there's no gratitude to Krishna? What do we have to be grateful for to Krishna? Please give me some examples. Be alive, yeah, sure. What else?
For the air, water.
For the air, water, fire, everything. What else? Somebody will speak up. What do we have to be grateful for? We can't think of anything that is a problem here. If we can't think of what we should be grateful to Krishna for, we have a problem.
He's given us everything. That's what
Name it, just name everything.
Like, first of all, he's given me the birth, and then he's let me go to school, he's given me parents, he's given me a child. I'm married, I have a husband,
Okay.
I have a house, I
Okay.
have food to eat, I have clothes to wear,
Great.
I have a car. So everything's
Right?
given me.
I'm glad you recognize that. Even more fundamental than that. Anybody else? Yeah, more fundamental than that. Your tongue you can speak, your eyes you can see, your legs you can
Yeah, he's
walk.
given us, like, made us all well, given us,
Right. So the point is, how many of us get up in the morning and say, thank you, my dear Lord Krishna, for giving me the ability to see. I believe it. How many of us? How many of us? Right? Okay, great. But I bet you 0.0001% people do that. They just don't want to acknowledge what you've done. So it's much like in the age of Kali, people will not reciprocate whatever favor you do. Third dream was that the man was putting an elephant to the eye of the needle. The whole elephant went through the tail stuff. As Maharaj said, in the age of Kali, people will get away with big crimes. But those committing small crimes will get caught. Right? So Trump can get away with whatever, right? Other big mafia and whatever else, they can get away with whatever. But small petty crime, you steal $5,000, you have an accident, or you steal somebody's car, or whatever, you get caught and you go to jail. So if you want to lie big, you'll be fine. But to steal big in stage, you'll be fine. But that's what's happening, right? And in the final, the boulder, the stone is coming down, crushing everything in its way. Nobody can stop it, but this man comes, takes a thread out of his cloth, stops it. What is that thread? Huh?
Sacred thread.
I can't hear you.
This means threat.
Thread? No, thread. This is thread. You know, like dhaga, this string. It starts with that. So that takes us to another verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, from the third canto, chapter 3, text 51, 52. It is Karmali Muni speaking to King Devi. Kalo doshi he rajan, asti yeko mahaguna. Kitinadev Krishna se, utsanga parampada. Saying this age of Kali is an ocean of faults. It's full of faults, nothing but faults. But there's one great quality of it. What is that? If you chant Krishna's name, you'll be delivered. You go back about it. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. And he follows up with another one. Just so you understand how big that is. He says, Kite dhai do Vishnu. Kitayam, Kite makai. Dwapare parcharyayam. Kalautat hai Kirtanat. He's saying that in Satyug, the process of self-realization was you meditate. But you meditate how long? 50,000 years, 6,000 years, 7,000 years. If you ask somebody to meditate for 50 hours, they'll run away. The age of Kali, right? But that was the process. In the age of Treta, the process was performance of 5 sacrifices. Lord Ram performed 5 sacrifices for 13,000 years. The process for self-realization in Dwapar Yuga was, anybody knows?
Temple worship.
Deity worship. Elaborate deity worship. Not just, 30 seconds up, okay, that Disha, no. Elaborate. But all the benefits of those are obtained in the age of Kali simply by the chanting of the holy name. So we talk about all these miseries, all these bad things that happen in the age of Kali. How do we overcome them? We overcome them simply by chanting of the holy name. It's not just that. In Nadia Puran says, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam, Kalau Nastiyeva, Nastiyeva, Nastiyeva. In the age of Kali, there's no other way. There's no other way except to chant the holy name of the Lord. So the only way to stop that boulder from coming down, crushing everything else, is that thread, the thread of the holy name of the Lord. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya came and he taught us, he encouraged us to chant the holy name. And one of the reasons he said the whole chanting the holy name is that we are so bad. I'm sorry, please don't insult it. It's just general. We're so bad. We don't want to do austerities. We don't want to do anything that's even close to anything like an austerity, any inconvenience. So therefore, the Lord said, I will give you some process that's not going to cause you too much inconvenience. I'll give you the holy name. I said, wait a minute. He said, holy name, I've heard if I have to puja, I'll take shower first. No, you don't have to shower. I have to clean clothes. No, you don't have to do that. I have to wear a kusha grass, this particular kind of grass. I have to face a direction. I have to breath control this. No, you don't have to do any of that. So concession after concession after concession. I can do deity worship because the worship was discipline. Don't have to do it. Just chant. But I'm very busy. Chant when you're busy. But I'm driving. Chant when you're driving. No niyamta is padana. There's no rules. There's no law. There's no requirement for a particular place. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you want, whatever you're doing, you can chant. What more do you want? And some people say, no time. No time. That's the age of Kali. So actually, in the 12th canto, there is a further definition of what's going to happen. That's the notes because I could memorize all these things. It's what's going to happen in the age of Kali. I'm going to read this. Religion, truthfulness, cleanliness, tolerance, mercy, duration of life, physical strength, and memory will diminish day by day. Everybody knows Sutta Goswami? Who was Sutta Goswami? So what I was here, you should know.
Disciple of yesterday.
Disciple of Vyasa, but why is he famous?
He narrated the
He narrated Srimad Bhagavatam. Where did he know Bhagavatam from?
from Sukadeva Swami.
From Sutta Goswami. How did he learn it?
He memorized it.
From what process? He sat there once when Sukadeva Goswami was narrating Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. He was sitting in the crowd. He heard it once. 18,000 verses. I repeated them. That is memory. To memorize one verse, I'll do it at least 10 times. And I keep repeating it because after a week I forget otherwise. And people tell me I have good memory. So much, by the we don't have good memory. Right? So, people have difficulty remembering names. I meet people, I meet them a month later, I can't remember their name. Just bad memory. Right? So, strength. We are all weaklings. When in the old days people used to fight, better example. I come from a family of, it's a royal family, warriors and all that. So one time when I was young, 13 years old, there was a sword hanging on the wall. And I'm sword lifted. I couldn't lift it. And they used to fight with them hours and hours at a time. And that's only 100, 200 years ago. You can imagine 5,000 years when Bhima was fighting. What are they fighting with?
Mace.
Huh?
With the mace.
Mace? But what else? Sometimes we fight. Leave the whole tree, abandon tree, leave down. Fight with that. I can even advance these days. My point is, in the age of Kali, the physical stuff goes down. And mercy, where's mercy gone? How do you know there's no mercy anymore?
Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse, exactly. Slaughterhouses. One after the other. Cleanliness, how do you know there's no cleanliness? Do we see cleanliness these days? It's filth everywhere. Filth everywhere. And what about inside filth? Are we filthy inside or are we good inside?
The hardest part to clean.
Yeah, exactly. So, what's the process?
Chant the whole name.
Chant the holy name. Chant the mantras. Right? And that's what we do more. In wealth alone, will be considered a sign of a man's good birth. So money, good family. No money, bad family. Proper behavior and fine quality. So your money, everything is excused. Oh yeah, great behavior, wonderful qualities just because you're money. And the law and justice will be applied only on the basis of one spouse. So I know, like my whole family back in India is in the justice system. The judges, the lawyers, and high court justices. And they tell me how much corruption is going on in the justice system. There's no such thing as fair justice anymore. It's whom you know or how much money you have, they can bribe the judge. And that's again, symptom. 5,000 years ago it had been told that will happen. Men and women live together merely because of superficial attraction. How many people do we know who live together without getting married? It's very common now. In France, 1 out of every 2 children is born out of wedlock. Many people in France don't believe in marriage, they believe in living together. And it's pretty common in Canada, America also. Success in business will depend upon deceit. And I know some very large, very successful business people. And they're telling me that if they behave totally honestly, they go bankrupt. Because the competitor is not doing that. So they have to behave like the competitor is successful. And they're not ashamed. They say that's the requirement. That's why we do business. Womanliness and manliness will be just according to one's expertise in sex. And man will be known as a Brahmana just by wearing a thread. So you put a sacred thread, you're a Brahman. You put saffron glass, you're sannyasi. The whole definition of the real thing is gone. A person's spiritual position will be ascertained merely according to external symbols. So people show, oh, he's a sadhu, fall down upper your businesses. They may be smoking ganja, drinking whatever and doing whatever. When His Holiness Prabhu Maharaj left his body, there's a big fight in our thing about who's going to claim the rights of the body. And all these Babajis showed up. And of course, who's the disciple of Prabhu Maharaj?
Baptista.
Baptista Maharaj. And he was there also. And he was saying, no, nobody can claim, I will do it. And there's a big fight going on. He said, okay, very simple. All you Babajis, tell me which one of you has not associated with a woman in the last 1 year, you can claim. Nobody can. Which one has not associated with a woman in 3 months? You can claim it. Nobody can. 1 week? Nobody can. That's Babajis. But they've been respected because they got the clothes of the Babaji. And big chata, in tiny clothes now. And one who's very clever at juggling words will be considered a learned scholar. If you talk fancy, you're a scholar. That's a simple definition. A person will be judged unholy if he does not have money. And hypocrisy will be considered a virtue. That's the age. That's the age. A politician stands up and says, I will do this for you, I'll do this for you. And everybody votes. And he says, sorry. Then gets voted again. Why did you do last time? Because this time. I'll do this time. Okay. So hypocrisy is rewarded. Marriage will be arranged simply by verbal agreement. So talk about that. Yes, I love you, let's live together. Who needs a piece of paper? There's no extra piece of paper. A person will think it's fit to appear in public is merely taking a bath. Hey man, I take a shower today, today's Thursday. First Thursday of the month, I take a shower, now I can come. No other qualification required. A sacred place will be taken to consist of no more than a reservoir of water located at distance. So just because there's some Ganga Nadi or Yamuna Nadi, that's it. What's the purpose? The real purpose to go to Holy Dham? Somebody tell me. You take bath in a river?
Association.
Huh?
Association.
Exactly. If you go to Vrindavan and don't associate, you get only half good. Beauty will be thought to depend upon one's hairstyle. If you like hair, you do this, like this one, too bad. Filling the belly will become the goal of life. What's the real goal of life?
Eating prasad.
Eating prasad. Still filling the belly. What's the real goal of life?
Happiness. Happiness.
And what's happiness?
In every aspect of life.
No, tell me, be specific.
Bhakti is also happiness towards God.
Okay.
Requiring happiness.
Okay, so bhakti gives you happiness. Okay. Yeah, so goal of life is to develop love of Krishna. Right? He who can maintain a family will be regarded as an expert man. So take care of your family well, you're an expert. Doesn't matter any other qualities. And the principles of religion will be observed only for the sake of reputation. So I'm going to do yajna, I'm going to call kirtan, I'm going to do kirtan at my home. And so people can say, oh, very nice man, very religious. And the bigger the program, the better it is, the more money you spend, the better it is. That's all simple. Okay. So anyway, those are some of the descriptions that are in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the purpose of discussing this is to know that that's the age we're living in. And if you simply become absorbed in the norms of today's age, then you have a problem. And what is that problem? That you're going to be entangled in this material world. You'll be stuck in this material world, and life after life after life, you keep coming. And there's no guarantee you'll come back as a human being. So our next birth may be a rat, or a skunk, or a lizard, or whatever. Not much fun. So therefore, we have to be aware of what it is that we need to do, what kind of lifestyle we need to lead, so we don't have to come back to this miserable world. Because no matter who you are, you may be a Trump, or Modi, or Pichai, or Bill Gates, or whoever, or the famous actor, there's a very famous actress, what's her name? Padukane, something Padukane. Thank you, Deepika Padukane, yeah, right? She declared a year ago she's very depressed. Now, probably the most beautiful, most talented, most famous, richest person's depressed. My point is, no matter who you are, miseries are going to surround you because that is the nature of the material world. So therefore, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. What I did not tell you is that much later on in this age of Kali, people will eat their elders, kill and eat them because you're no good anymore. 7-year-old girls will get pregnant, and it gets worse and worse and worse. So it's time to get out of this now. So let's ask ourselves, what is it that we can do that help us not come back? And let's do that. And as we said in the beginning of this class, that the process, by the mercy of the Lord, that's been given to us to get out of here is very easy. Simply raise our hands and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simple as that. Chant the holy name of the Lord. Serve him by chanting his name, serve his devotees. And he guarantees that he'll take back. But we have to do this. So it's about 10 minutes before the end of time, so I'm going to stop here and see if there are any questions, comments, realizations that you want to share, and take from that. Yes, sir.
Prabhu, you're saying that the most common in Kali Yuga is laziness. What is the cure to laziness? What is the cure to laziness?
The question is, I was talking about laziness, one of the qualities of people in this world. So what is the cure? Well, first of all, to understand the consequences of our laziness. And one simple consequence that we can relate to is that we are going to come back and therefore continue to be miserable. So extending our misery ad infinitum by being lazy. So that's one thing. So there's a real spiritual incentive to not be lazy. But there's material incentive also. If you're lazy, then there are going to be some health effects. I know some people can barely walk because they never exercised in their life. And they're only 60 years old. I knew somebody, actually a relative of a friend, who just passed away recently. At the age of 65, he could not get up from his bed because he's so fat and no energy. But so lazy that he'll have his children or his wife put food in his mouth. I'm not joking. Put food in his mouth. There's a joke that, does anybody know Radha Guru Maharaj? Very famous Nasi ISKCON. Anyway, so he tells a story about a Brahmin who was a young man, was so lazy that he had his wife do all the work home. She would not just cook for him, bring a plate to him, and put food in his mouth. And then with one hand she'd be doing pankha, the fan. She's fanning him with one hand, feeding him with the other hand. This man was so lazy. So one day she noticed there's sweat on his forehead. So she said, Swami's husband, Swami, I don't understand, you don't do any work. I've been feeding you, and I'm fanning you at the same time, still sweating. And I have answered in Hindi, and I translate this. And he said, Kha ka tera baap raha hai, which means who's chewing the food? I'm the one chewing my food. So it's surprising that I'm sweating. That's the height of laziness. So my point is, so there's physical benefit of not being lazy. So the incentive is there. And if you want to stop being lazy, associate with people who are not lazy. People who chant, people who serve in the temple, associate with them and be incented to and inspired to do some work in the same direction. And that's basically it. Understand the benefit and the non-benefit of not doing it, associate with people who are not lazy in their service, and change. I think that answers the question. Anybody else? Is everyone so convinced that they are totally without the problems of the age of Kali? And this was an irrelevant class because we're so far above the qualities of this one.
And a mango tree, the mango falls, the mango grows up. So if we are not born as a human being in our next life, if we have done something bad to someone and we carry that karma with us, we are going to come as a human being to pay back that karma.
See, I wish it was that simple. There are 8.4 million species. Only 400,000 are something like a human being. 8 million are not. So when you perform bad karma, it's not necessarily given in the way you have done. So for example, there's 28 different types of hell described in Srimad Bhagavatam. One of them is called a lot of hell, that's the name of the hell. And it says that if you associate with the wife of another person, you're taken there. The first thing that happens is that you put in a pot of boiling oil. So that's the first thing. And we suffered like that for a long time. It's sent to an animal life. It doesn't specifically say which one. So yes, it's possible that you come back as a human being to pay for that karma directly. And that happens, for example, if you kill a cow or any animal. In the next birth, it said that they become that animal become human, and then they kill you. Right? So that reciprocity happens sometimes. But it's not necessarily because we did something bad to somebody, next birth will come back as a human being to suffer. Maybe 100 births later, we'll come back and suffer. There's no rush. You're carrying karmas of activities you did trillions of years ago, trillions of life ago. Somebody's got an account there. Someday you will pay for it. In what form, we don't know. Okay? So that's the problem, there's no guarantee. The only guarantee is that if you chant properly, that you'll come back as a human being, and that you continue to do that, you one day not have to come back at all. That's the only guarantee. But if you keep chanting, guarantee you'll come back as a human being. So that's one incentive to keep chanting. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Prabhu, if we chant 16 rounds and follow regulatory principles and read Prabhupada books, can we go back to Godhead, or we have to come back as a human because of any karma in this birth or the previous birth?
Yeah, very good question. Prabhupada said, if you chant 16 rounds without offenses, so that's a qualification. Chant 16 rounds without offenses, observe the 4 regulatory principles, and serve sincerely, then you're guaranteed one last human birth. What would that be? Wherever Krishna is performing his pastimes. Krishna is passing. You go there, be trained by a Gopa or a Gopi in how to serve Guru Vrindavan, and that's it. We're done. So Prabhupada is giving a guarantee, so I say yes, if we can do that. But let's ask ourselves, are we being offensive when we chant? I'm chanting purely. If we are, you have nothing to worry. You got the guarantee of the scriptures, you got the guarantee of Gopa, you got the guarantee of Krishna.
Always offensive one way or the other, Prabhu.
That's the problem. That's the problem. So this is why we call it practice, devotional practice. We go through trial and error. This works, no, not really. That was a little bit, and we keep trying. But as long as we know the goal is to chant properly, we can try. I mean, me included, I've chanted all my life, but still not chanted. So it's not that easy. But if you're conscious of that and keep trying, one day you will succeed. I remember in my home, back home in Lucknow, we had a faucet, and then underneath the faucet was stone, like big thick stone. But that stone had a hole in the middle. That hole had come from the dripping faucet, one drop at a time. But I don't know how many years. But that big thick stone had a hole. And so that gives you hope. You keep trying, small successes will accumulate. In Hindi they say, boon boon karke khada padta, which means you keep putting one drop at a time in a pot. One day the pot will be full. And that's our hope. So let's keep trying. One day we will succeed. It's Krishna will help. If he sees our sincerity, if he sees that we really try hard, without his help cannot do it. So therefore, we're begging for his help. We're begging help from the devotees. Then we succeed. So the hope is that don't give up hope. Okay? Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.